Hey guys, today I'll be doing two unboxings of products that I've owned before. I just didn't get to do the unboxings for them, so I just want to show you guys. This is a Sony ZV-1 digital camera. I got this back in 2020, and it was my main device for recording videos, and unfortunately I cannot use it right now because there is an issue with the camera, mainly that when I put a memory card in, it always says that there's no memory card detected, and I'm not really sure how to fix it. I've tried upgrading the firmware. I've tried, obviously I've tried inserting new memory cards, tried reformatting the memory cards, but to no avail. So I have to basically fix this camera. But while I'm kind of in this limbo state, while I'm not using it, I might as well just do this video, show you guys what's inside the box, because I don't think I've done that in my original video with this camera. So yeah, this is what comes in the box. Give you a warranty, some Sony offers, of course, and the manual for the camera, reference guide, everything. So yeah, this, let's see. Okay, yeah, this is the different features of the camera. It's got a lot of stuff here. It's got the Zeiss lens, of course. Sony's had an affiliation with Zeiss for a long time. Exmor RS, CMOS sensor, Bion ZX, SBS. So they basically took a lot of the technologies. With the ZV-1, it's they took a lot of the technologies of the RX100, a Mark 7, and then they made it more vlog friendly, I think. And then they made this camera, which is really appealing to me since I make a lot of YouTube videos. That's why I chose this camera specifically. SD card, multi-HDMI, Dolby Audio, Bluetooth, 4K HDR, Wi-Fi certified, memory stick. Yeah, so it's got 1.0 Exmor, 20.1 megapixels, 24-70 is the lens. You cannot change out the lens. So if you guys want to have an interchangeable lens on this camera, there is another camera called the Sony Alpha ZV-E10. So that one has basically the same features as this camera, but it has an interchangeable lens of the Alpha system. So yeah, for me, this one, even though you can't change out the lens, this 24-70 millimeter is good enough for me. Because I think this is good enough for most scenarios. I think my old Sony Alpha A6000, I just put a Zeiss 24mm prime on it. I think most of the time I didn't need to change out that lens anyways. So yeah, if you're just going to be using one lens most of the time, you might as well just go for this one. It's a pretty versatile lens, pretty good one. Yeah, so it's just like putting your typical 24mm Sony Zeiss lens on it. Okay, phase detection, 315 autofocus points, real-time eye autofocus, face appeal, bokeh switch, clear voice and microphone jack. All nice for vlog stuff. What I like about this camera is the microphone on it is pretty good. So, I mean, you could upgrade the mic. It even has like it's a shoe right here. So you can use the shoe for upgrading the microphone. You can put your own Sony mic, a hot shoe on it. Sony does have a few different variations. I think they sell a stereo XY mic, and they also sell a shotgun mic that you can put on this. But I feel like the built-in mic on here is good enough. Like I said in my previous video on this, and I think I already went over all the features of this camera in my previous video, but you guys can see the basic stuff on the outside, on-off mode. You got your zoom right here, your shutter button, your record button. Mainly, I don't really take pictures on this camera. It's mainly a video camera. You can change out the modes here. And then here, this is interesting because you can use it for taking video of yourself like this. So you can flip it over. That's something that the Alpha series, I believe, couldn't really do. So yeah, you can flip it over like that. And then here's your menu navigator. Clicking confirm on the menu, bring out the menu. FN, secondary function, play your videos, delete your stuff. That's your standard Sony. If you're familiar with Alpha and RX100 cameras, you should be familiar with these. Tripod mount at the bottom, then the slot for the full-size SD card slot, and the replaceable battery. So my problem right now is the memory card slot doesn't seem to be working very well, and I can't seem to get it to actually work. And yeah, once you do this, then it's got a Verisonar T-Star anti-reflective coating on this lens, Zeiss lens, of course. The reason why I have this thing on the front of it actually is because I also bought this wide angle lens, this even wider angle lens. I think it actually has a wide angle already, but I wanted to make it even wider angle, so I bought this one from eBay. It's a Chinese seller that makes these aftermarket lenses, I guess, even for the even for the ZV-1, because the ZV-1, even though you can't upgrade the lens and stuff on it, I wanted to have an even wider angle lens, so I bought this one. And you're supposed to just attach it here. So this is a 52 millimeter macro, but it's a pretty wide angle actually when you actually use it. I think equivalent to like maybe a 16 millimeter. But yeah, you fix it like this, and then actually apply some 3 millimeter type of sticky solution on here, and then that's what this stuff is. It's basically this sticky. Yeah, you apply this 3 millimeter basically sticky pad around here, and then you just attach it like this, and then once you like open up the camera, it'll like stick to it, I guess. But the problem is it falls out over time. Like, I guess the sticky solution wasn't enough, so that's why you have this kind of residue here. It's from this aftermarket wide angle lens I tried to put on it. Yeah, unfortunately the sticky type of what did they call this, pads, the 3M pads, sticky pads. Anyways, yeah, that thing wears out over time. So once you keep zooming in and out, like every time you open up the camera, the lens has to go out, and yeah, that really takes a hit apparently on the this type of connection. So that's why, yeah, it fell out now. But yeah, it also comes with a windscreen cover, so you can put this into the hot shoe, and then it'll go right on top of this built-in mic right here and act as a windscreen cover when you're filming outside in windy conditions. It also comes with this is micro USB connected to the computer. It doesn't come with USB-C, unfortunately. So yeah, you can see the connections on the side here. It's got a lanyard. It's got dedicated microphone in case, you know, you don't want to use the built-in mic and you don't want to use a hot shoe either. You also have another way to plug in a mic, which is just using a microphone input right here. Then you have the connection to the computer, which is micro USB, not USB-C, unfortunately. And then you got a micro HDMI connection right here for video output. And it comes with the battery, of course. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Also, I bought external third-party batteries, of course. With a camera like this, you're gonna run out of batteries pretty frequently. So I recommend buying something like this. I just bought this off of Amazon, some cheap Chinese solution. You got a battery recharger, and you get external, you know, third-party batteries, so I can switch them out. You always need extra batteries because something like this, you're gonna use up the batteries pretty fast. So yeah, this is the typical Sony battery. They've been using this for years. They use it on pretty much all their cameras, even the Sony music video recorder and their action cameras, both of which use the same battery. They all use the same battery, so I've had these for years. So yeah, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Put this memory card and the battery in, and open it up, and then yeah, it'll say this: unable to read memory card, reinsert memory card. And I have not been able to get rid of this message no matter what I do. So I've tried upgrading the firmware on the camera. I've tried using different memory cards, tried reformatting the memory card. Nothing works. It always gives me the error message, and it prevents me from even using the menu actually when this happens. So anyways, yeah, when you turn it on, this thing will pop out. But yeah, I cannot do anything. You cannot get rid of this message at all. So that's kind of where I'm stuck here right now. So yeah, I'm gonna fix this camera somehow. Yeah, the wide angle lens, I would love to use it more. It actually works quite well, but just the sticky pads don't hold their stickiness, I guess. So this is the other accessory I want to do an unboxing of. It's a Zhiyun Crane M2. It is a gimbal, a professional 3-axis stabilizer. It's a competitor to DJI. So DJI makes their Osmos and their Ronins. I think this is competing with them. This is, I got this one instead of DJI because it's the only one that makes it small enough to fit this camera. I mean, there are bigger ones, but I don't want to carry a really big stabilizer. So this is the one that makes, Zhiyun makes the smallest one that I know of that also fits a camera like this. So yeah, Crane M2, I think this costs about 180 bucks US, brand new. And it's not really cheap. But yeah, if you're going out somewhere where you do need the stabilization, so if you're walking around, you want to take smooth footage, then I highly recommend this. And I've already talked about this in my previous video review of the ZV-1, but here it is. This is what comes inside the box. So yeah, you get the gimbal itself. So this is, I've already talked about how this works before, but yep, got all the different movements here with the analog controls, the on button or on slider, I should say. Then you got the menu button, the manual mode, record. Then you got the zoom, USB-C charging. You got tripod mount. You got a focus button right here, a lock. Yep, and just lock it right there. And yeah, this, you got to balance that in order to use it. It comes with the quick start guide and comes with a tripod, lanyard. This is the screw that you need to screw things in. You have a quick release, so that's what the screw is for. So this is the quick release plate right here that you need. And then you got the holder for phones. Yeah, so this is a holder, I guess, for the, you can also use this with the tripod mount, in the tripod, I mean. And then you got the USB-C cable. So that's pretty much what comes in the box here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I did an unboxing of this before, which is why I kind of want to do it now, just because my camera doesn't really work all that well right now. But yeah, all right. There we go. So yeah, that is the Zhiyun Crane M2, 180 bucks. You can get this stabilizer, which I think works fairly well with the ZV-1. So there you go, guys. The Sony ZV-1 camera and the stabilizer. So let me know if you guys have any questions about it. Actually, you can probably watch the video on the ZV-1 that I have on my channel already. Just wanted to do the unboxing video for these. So that's it. Hey guys, how's it going? So today I want to talk about my recent camera setup. So those of you who watched my recent YouTube videos, you may have noticed a difference in the video quality. You may have noticed that the video quality and the audio quality are a little bit better than before. And the reason is because I've been using this guy to record my YouTube videos. And this is the Sony ZV-1. It was just released by Sony a little over a month ago. And it's a really good compact camera. A lot of reviews have already came out about it. This camera is meant for vloggers and YouTubers, basically. A lot of features geared towards them. But if you're just looking for a really good compact camera, then this is also a really good camera as well. So think of it as a cheaper version of the RX100 series that actually adds some features as well compared to the RX100 series, while maintaining the same good video quality. So I really like this camera. If you watch some of my older camera equipment, you may have noticed I used to have a Sony a6000, which I didn't really use that much, and I had a Zeiss lens with it. It was an f1.8 24mm prime, and I didn't use it all that often because it was still kind of bulky, and so I didn't really end up using it as much as I wanted to. So I switched to the iPhone 11 Pro for doing a lot of my YouTube videos. So that's what happened basically. Last year you were basically seeing my Google Pixel 2 doing most of the YouTube videos before like mid 2019, and then towards the later 2019 I tried using my Sony a6000 to record some videos, but didn't really turn out so well. And then I got the iPhone 11 Pro, and after I got that in October 2019, I started using that on all my videos. And now I'm using the Sony ZV-1. It's a really good camera. You can find it retail price for about $750, $800 US. You can also get it with a kit, which means you get it with a tripod and a grip. It was a Bluetooth grip that Sony sells for like $150 or $180 separately, which I think is a good addition for people who like to take their camera outside and stuff. I'm going to be using this with a gimbal though, because this does have built-in optical image stabilization and electronic image stabilization as active steady shot, but it's still not as good as a gimbal, right? It's still not as smooth as a gimbal. It's gonna stabilize your videos more for sure, but don't compare this to using a DJI Ronin or a Zhiyun Crane, right? It's not the same thing. So it's still not a gimbal. You need that 3-axis stabilization. So I'm gonna use this with the Zhiyun Crane M2, which I also got with this. So yeah, let's just go over the appearance first of all, and the specs of the lens here. Actually, it's all marked right here. So yeah, the Sony ZV-1, very, very compact, as you can see here. Roughly, I would say, yeah, around the same size as the RX100 series, maybe a bit smaller. You can see it comes with the Zeiss Vario sonar, which has a T-sharp anti-reflective coating on it. This is a zoom lens, so this is it goes from 24 millimeter to 70 millimeter. And I think that is the best focal length range, and most people will be satisfied with that. I mean, you cannot change the lens out. It's not an interchangeable mirrorless camera like the Sony Alpha series, but 24 millimeters to 70 millimeters, most people will be happy with that focal length. It's good for most things, right? Like 95% of your daily applications. It's fine. You don't need a super ultra wide. You don't need a super telephoto, right? That covers most use cases. It's f1.8 to f2.8. And yeah, I think that will cover most people here. So yeah, if you look at the back and the sides here, we can go over that as well as the top functions here. So another thing I really like about this camera, especially why it's so good for YouTubers and vloggers, is the built-in microphone here. The built-in microphone is actually really, really good. Originally, I thought I was going to have to use my Sony XY stereo mic to record videos, and previously I've been using the iPhone 11 Pro, like I mentioned, with the Shure MV88 mic attached to it. I think this is actually better quality than the Shure MV88 mic that I used, this built-in mic right here. So I actually didn't feel any need to change out any microphones or add any microphones or anything. You can. There's a bunch of expansion options on here, so you actually get a hot shoe with here, and that's actually really, really good because the RX100 does not have a hot shoe. So that means that some features that the ZV-1 has, the RX100 series doesn't even have, even though this is cheaper, right? So you're getting the hot shoe, which works with any of the Alpha accessories, right? If you have the Sony stereo mic, for example, the XY mic or shotgun mic, like I mentioned, you can actually put it in the hot shoe. Yeah, this is very compatible with a lot of different accessories that are already out there, which is really nice. But yeah, the built-in microphone, fantastic. It's not, I'm not gonna say it's as good as a dedicated mic. Obviously not. Like if you have a dedicated mic, then yeah, use that one. But as far as built-in mics is concerned for a compact camera, this is probably one of the best. So didn't feel any need to change that out. And then you may have seen in my YouTube videos, actually my voice actually sounds louder. I don't need to adjust it in post-production like I had to do before, right? Then this is on-off, obviously, the mode, which I'll go over in a bit. This is the zoom, right? And record button, and this is also the shutter button only for photos. And then a dedicated record button, in the background defocus button, which can be useful in some cases as well. I use it sparingly though. And then if you go to the side here, there's a lanyard. This is a dedicated mic input, which this has as well. So remember how I said this has a lot of different accessory compatibility options. So you can choose to use the hot shoe, or you can choose to use the external mic input right here. So you have a variety of options here. There's external mic input. You can have that as well. And then this is the micro USB. I never use this. I don't recommend using this. It's so slow, and it's micro USB. It's not USB-C. So the way that it comes like this, they don't come with a dedicated charger, so you have to charge this camera using a micro USB cable, which is really I don't know, that's just really slow and too archaic for me. I got a dedicated charger for the battery, but so I don't recommend using this micro USB. I recommend getting a dedicated charger. And then this is a micro HDMI, for output to a TV. Still has that. Wonder why they all made it separate flaps. Could have been just one flap like the Sony Alpha, but okay. Down here, of course, you have the tripod mount. And then here you have the full-size SD card. Yeah, this is what I mean by I don't use the micro USB port here. It's because there's a full-size SD card, and I just, I just take out the SD card and that's how I transfer files. I don't use micro USB. And for the removable battery here, I have a dedicated charger for it. I recommend just going on Amazon and finding any Sony charger that will work with the same battery. Basically is used with a lot of Sony cameras. This is also used for the RX100 series. It's also used for the action cameras. My old Sony music video recorder actually uses this battery as well. So this is the exact same battery used in a lot of Sony devices. Not the Alpha series though. The Alpha uses a different battery, I believe. But this battery, you can definitely find a compatible charger very easily because it's the same one used in the RX100. So just find an RX100 charger and you can do it. You can just get it for the ZV-1. It's the exact same battery. And I use a dedicated charger for this because charging with the micro USB is just so tedious and archaic and slow. So I don't use that. And plus, when you buy, this is, as you notice, this is not an official Sony battery. It came with an official Sony battery, but I'm using the one I got from Amazon. Actually, why don't I just show you guys the one I got from Amazon? So this is it. This is the Power Extra charger, or it's some no-name charger thing I got from Amazon. Came with 2 extra batteries, came with these 2 extra Power Extra batteries, and yeah, it's just a very convenient way to charge the battery, right? You don't have to hook up the micro USB, and then yeah, that's just really annoying. You have to use wires and stuff. Plus, this comes with extra batteries, and I know a lot of these come with extra batteries on Amazon. This was the original Sony battery, by the way. This is the one that came with it originally. But there you go. But yeah, I highly recommend getting a separate dedicated charger for these batteries. It'll come with extra batteries, which is pretty essential if you're going to use this for recording any kind of video, 4K video, or any video over 10-15 minutes. You're going to need extra batteries, right? Because dedicated cameras do eat up batteries. So I highly recommend getting a dedicated charger. So yeah, this display here is a little bit different than the one on the Sony Alpha cameras or the other cameras that Sony makes. Is because usually you have Sony cameras, the screen flips up or it flips towards you like that. This one flips to the side, and this actually makes it easier for vlogging, and that's why this was marketed as a YouTuber camera, as a vlogger camera, because you can easily record like a selfie video with this, right? You can take a picture, like a selfie picture, or record a selfie video, which is really good for vloggers and YouTubers. So that's why it's like that. Of course, you can also, rotate it should you choose. And then this is the, I guess I call this the camcorder style, because this is how old camcorders were like. They had the screen out like this way towards you. But yep, this is the natural position. You can have it out, like I said, towards you. It's really good for selfies and recording yourself. So yep, we have the usual Sony camera features here that are very familiar if you've been using, if any of you have used Sony cameras before. Very familiar. You got a function end button here, menu, display, and shortcuts for the timer, for burst. It's for viewing your videos and stuff in the trash. And really that's it. Oh, look, it turned on. All right, so I guess we can go over the features now. So, okay, once you turn it on, this is gonna pop out. So like I said, it's a 24 to 70 millimeter. So it'll get all the way up there. So for example, let's put a subject in front of us, and it'll automatically adjust in the intelligent mode here, which is what I have. This is the default mode for photos, intelligent auto, and this is the default mode for videos or movies. So yep, it'll automatically focus here, and of course you can always zoom in or zoom out, right? So it's 2x optical zoom there. And yeah, I really like the different modes here. So intelligent auto is for pictures. That's what I usually use for taking pictures. And then I mostly use this camera for taking video. I think this is mostly marketed as a video camera. You can take photos with it, of course, but it's not really marketed as a still camera. It's more of a video camera. So I use intelligent auto a lot. And then movie, I guess you can use this for, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I guess you can use this mode as well for taking video. I don't know exactly the too much differences. Maybe there's some auto color or contrast adjustment in this mode. Not too sure between these two for taking video, but there's movie mode as well. High frame rate for slow motion. Memory recall, haven't used that. Scene selection, again, very too specific for me. I don't really use that. Sweep panorama I've used sometimes for taking panoramas. Manual exposure, shutter priority and aperture priority. Again, very, very specific modes, only for people who know what they're doing. I don't really touch those. I'm not like a professional photographer or anything. And program auto, again, don't really use that too much. So I'd say, for me, I stick with the intelligent modes the most. Maybe I'll try out the movie mode sometime. Not sure what's the difference for that. All right, so this is the intelligent photo mode, and this is the timer, right? You can adjust the timer and the burst right here. You can use this as a scroll wheel, although this is a touchscreen as well. I think you can use it to focus, right? And then, go to video mode here. This is the different functions, right? You press FN, and then you can set the level of the microphone, and then you can change the focus mode. I have it set it to center right now. I think it comes by default actually as automatic AF, but it didn't work too well for me, so I switched to continuous autofocus. And you can also change to manual focus as well. So different autofocus modes, make sure that you choose the right one for your videos. Just experiment around. Focus area, again, I kind of had to experiment with this, but it defaults to zone. And it was okay, but for me, I'm doing mostly product reviews, so I set it to center. This is wide, right? If you want to focus on a very wide area, I focus on center because I'm doing product reviews, right? And then these are the other options right there. This is auto, right? I can change it to manual mode to set all those other settings there. So manual exposure, and then you have a lot more control. So you can set the exposure here, right? The levels, keep it to 0 mostly. And then ISO auto, again, you can have a lot of control here, but just for me, I'm not an expert. I set it to auto here. And steady shot is on, which is the mode that enables the optical image stabilization plus the electronic image stabilization. I think most people would want to have this on unless they have it fixed on the tripod, right? And soft skin effect, there's an extra effect there. White balance, which is set to auto right now, but you can change it to different settings here. And that's, yeah, it's too much. It's almost like a filter. I'm just gonna set to auto. Yeah, creative style, not really too sure what that is. So ND filter, because I'm indoors, I probably want this off. ND filter is really good outside though. So if you get too bright outside, probably want to put the ND filter on, which is built into this lens, by the way. All right, so this is basically what happens with Product Showcase. It's basically just setting some automatic settings for you to optimize it for product reviews. But basically you have to be in the intelligent auto mode. If you're in the manual mode, it actually wouldn't change anything. So yeah, put in this mode, and then for example, I'm gonna have a subject here. Now this is kind of weird because now it's kind of like I'm recording a YouTube video inside a YouTube video, but I'm gonna have a tripod, right? Like, so when I'm recording this for a YouTube video, I have a tripod to keep it still, right? For Product Showcase, you should always have a tripod. And I use a GorillaPod, but you know, that's just me. It's very, very flexible for recording. So I use that, and then this is with Product Showcase off. Yeah, you can tell it's very, very close. The subject is pretty close here, and then turning on the Product Showcase will actually remove the active steady shot. Reason that it does that is because it assumes you're on a tripod, so you won't need to have any stabilization. And once you get rid of the optical image stabilization, you can actually, basically, it's almost like increasing or decreasing the focal length. So you get a little bit of a wider area. So I'm going to turn this on. So this is what happens when you turn Product Showcase set on. It actually increases the area. You can see here, right? There's a wider area now, and it turns the active steady shot off. And then just some other settings too, I guess. Haven't really looked too much into it, but this is what I use for YouTube reviews. It gives you a bit of a wider area to record, and I also use, yeah, I use autofocus center or continuous, sorry, autofocus continuous and focus area center is what I usually use. And there's a bunch of settings that you can change here. So actually, if you go into manual mode, just using the dial here will change the shutter speed, and you can also change the f-stop right here. Right, so this is only a manual mode. You can change all this, or in the other modes too. Sorry, the aperture mode and the shutter speed mode, you can obviously change the aperture and shutter speed, but in the auto mode you can't, right? So yeah, manual mode is for people who know what they're doing. They want very fine control, and you have all these different settings here. If you keep pressing display, you can actually, this is a touch screen, so you can focus where you touch it. So there you go, you can track something like that, and then there's focus peaking right here, and then you can adjust your balance right here to make sure you're balanced. So that's what this indicator is for. All right, so from the beginning, there's a lot of different settings in Sony cameras, right? So by default, you have, this is for picture settings right here, right? You can change your file format, JPEG, options, panorama stuff. Second screen is for long exposure, color space. I chose Adobe RGB, but it actually defaults to sRGB. Shoot mode, which is in Intelligent Auto right now. You can also change it with the mode button. Interval shooting function, this is actually for time lapses. So you can choose when to start or how long between shots, number of shots. So this is the mode to use for time lapses. And then the fourth page, what's this, memory? Okay, I don't even know that. Then this is autofocus settings. You have a continuous autofocus, what I'm doing right now. Focus area, which I will change to center. Yep. Then face eye autofocus settings, right? You can actually choose to detect animals. By default set to humans, but if you want to have it detect animal faces or subjects, then you can do that. Animal eye display, yep. So there's a lot of settings there. Pre-AF, focus frame color. I don't know what all these settings do. I'm just going over the ones I do know. Display continuous autofocus interface detection area. Yeah, I don't really know those settings well. Maybe someone who's more experienced can tell me. And then this is exposure. Can't adjust this because I'm not in manual mode. But if you're in manual mode, you can adjust the ISO, ND filter, exposure. You can adjust that, right? Flash. Let's see. Actually, let's go to manual mode so I can see most of these settings. There. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. So this is where we're at. You can turn the ND filter, like I said, the ISO, exposure. You can adjust all that. Flash mode, flash compensation, change that. White balance, you can change that. So creative style, you have to turn picture profile off for this. I'll go into picture profile after. But for creative style, you can choose standard, vivid, portrait, landscape, sunset, black and white, or sepia. And these are basically just filters, and I'd rather not have it on because I'd rather put in filter effects post-production rather than pre-production, right? Because if you shoot a pre-production with a filter on, you're not going to be able to adjust it later if you ever want to change it. Okay, so picture profile for basically this is for mostly post-production, doing more color grading, for example. People doing a lot of post-production will be interested in this. So PP1 is, this is in using the movie gamma with color mode movie. So that's picture profile 1, which is movie gamma. Again, not too sure exactly what this gamma is. Maybe more experienced videographers, you might want to chime in. Not exactly sure about the differences. So there's picture profile 1. Picture profile 2 is using the still gamma in still color mode. Not too sure what that is. Maybe it's for still photos, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure why that's better for still photos. Then picture profile 3 is using ITU 709, and color mode Pro. Those are the presets. And then picture profile 4 is ITU709 and ITU709 matrix color mode. Don't really know what that means, but that's the presets for PP4. Then PP5, we get Cine 1 and Cinema color mode. Then PP6, we get Cine 2 in Cinema color mode. Maybe there's minor things I'll have to look up what each of these gammas exactly do, but these are the presets here. S-Log2 is PP7 for the gamma, and then color mode is S-Gamut. I think for people doing color grading, S-Log2 would probably be the mode that they would want to use usually. And then S-Log3, I guess this one is an even brighter. If I want to call it, it's even brighter than S-Log2, so maybe it requires even more intense color grading. S-Gamut 3.Cine is the color mode here. And then PP9 is S-Log3 with S-Gamut 3 mode. So this is a different color mode. Same gamma, but different color mode. This is using .Cine, and this one's not using .Cine. Exactly, I'm not really sure what the difference is. Again, I'm not an expert, but maybe someone can let me know. And then PP10 is HLG mode, and actually this defaults to HLG2. As far as I know, HLG2 is, so HLG and HLG1 has more denoising, which is better for darker environments, and then HLG3 is better for brighter environments. It has more dynamic range, I guess, but it doesn't have any denoising, so you probably wouldn't use it at night. And then HLG2 is in between, so it has some denoising, but also more wider dynamic range than HLG1 is what I've been told. And that's the gamma color mode BT 2020. So I guess HLG is the HDR standard here. It's a backwards compatible HDR standard. So I guess if you're recording HDR videos, you'd want to use the PP10 picture profile. If you're doing color grading, then maybe you still want to use the S-Log2 or 3. Yeah. So, okay, those are the different picture profiles. And then go here, soft skin effect. Another effect, I guess. I don't really tell the difference. Focus assist, you get a focus magnifier, time initial magnification, peaking setting, that's all the settings right there. Product showcase set, which is set to on right now. I can turn it off there, which will enable some of these other ones. Maybe face registration, smile shutter, self-portrait timer. Okay, so a lot of different configurations. I have it set to 4K right now. I actually mostly record in 1080p still. The reason is because 4K, obviously, you know, 4K is the standard right now, but for me, I also care about battery life, and I care about how long the device can record before overheating, and also the space on my memory card as well. And given the fact that I'm not really, I'm not making a professional movie or anything, I'm not going outside to record like a scene, then I think I usually do just 1080p is fine. I do care about the battery life because my product reviews are usually like 20-30 minutes long, and this camera or Sony cameras have an overheat, you know, setting where they'll automatically turn off if it overheats. So all those factors is the reason why I usually stick to 1080 still. Yeah, I know 4K is the right format to have. It's you know, most people have 4K TVs now, right? Even some laptops and phones are 4K now. But I still stick to 1080p for those reasons, right? Just battery life, storage, overheating. And this is my record setting here. You can go up to 120, 60M, 100M. I stick to 30, right? 24 is for the cinema, right? And 30 is normal, 60 if you want a little bit higher speed, but not very good for, I think for product reviews, you want to just keep it 30. The 120 for like slow motion and action scenes and stuff. HFR settings right here. Yeah, so this is for really high speed continuous shooting here. It's 240 FPS. You can go all the way up to 960 FPS. It's super slow motion. And record quality, that's why you want to keep that. Again, it's always a balance, right? You want to have good quality video, but you also want to keep in mind the battery life and the storage space and everything. Okay, so this image size, proxy recording, autofocus drive speed, tracking sensor. It's all actually defaulted to responsive, but I noticed that sometimes it's just too aggressive when I'm doing a lot of my product reviews. That's why you see in some videos I did recently on the different laptops that I had, that the autofocus was being too aggressive, right? So you're seeing the laptop going in and out of focus like way too often. So that's why I had to set this to standard, because it was too aggressive. And then that's the autofocus settings, the initial focus magnification, audio recording, level display, wind noise reduction. So this actually has I guess a built-in low cut filter for wind noise. I'm guessing that's what it is. So this microphone is already pretty good. Steady shot, again, this is optical image. So this will be optical image stabilization for standard, and active would be optical plus electronic image stabilization, I believe. Both of those combined. Marker display, settings, recording lamp. This is to actually, there is a light here, right? So you can choose to have that be on when you're recording, movie with shutter, right? Then this is more steady shot stuff. Zoom setting, optical zoom only. You can also do digital zoom, which is not going to be as good. I'm not sure what clear image zoom is. Zoom speed, okay. Display button, zebra setting, grid line, exposure setting. Again, all these other settings I don't usually use, but it's there. Custom keys, function menu, movie button. It's all custom operations. You can customize a lot of things here. Then the network can send to your smartphone, send to computer. If you're on TV, you can connect to your Wi-Fi, right? So this camera does have Wi-Fi, even has airplane mode. It's so funny seeing airplane mode on a camera, but there it is. Wi-Fi settings, Bluetooth, it has all that. Right, Bluetooth remote control. That was the little stick that they packaged in that extra bundle that can control the camera with Bluetooth. You can control it remotely, which is nice. Playback, settings, playback 2. Don't really touch these that often. Slideshow, playback 3, playback 4. Setup, monitor brightness, yeah. So a lot of different settings here. Power save start time. Off, auto power off temperature. So this is yeah, one thing I just set to high, because I usually record videos like 20-30 minutes long, like I said, for product reviews, and if you don't set this to high, then it's going to be very aggressive to turn off when you record a long time. So I think anything over like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's just going to power off. So that's why I need to set it to high here. And it won't even give you a warning, actually. It'll just say actually, it will just power off sometimes. I don't think it will even give me a warning. All right, touch over demo mode, HDMI settings. Yeah, so this is all okay. Settings for output, USB connection, power supply, language. Yeah, this is all your normal setting stuff. You can do all that here. Yeah, but that's it. That's a lot of settings, a lot of customization for the Sony ZV-1, which I think is a really good camera. And I have the Zhiyun Crane M2 here. You can get it for around 150, 180. So I'm not getting the packaged Sony Bluetooth handle thing for this, because I have the Zhiyun. This is gonna give me even better stabilization, because in addition to active steady shot, this is going to have, you know, this is the 3-axis gimbal. So it's gonna stabilize it even more. So the thing with the Zhiyun is, unlike the DJI, I feel like the DJI Osmo is really good for beginners, which is what I used before with all my steady shots before. All my stabilized footage, I used the DJI Osmo and Osmo Plus. But now, if you want better video quality, you know, you got to get a dedicated camera. This one is for mirrorless and compact cameras. I can't even find a gimbal that's smaller than this on the market right now. Maybe someday in the future, Zhiyun and DJI will make an even smaller one. This is so far the smallest gimbal that you can get that can accept a camera like this, right? Of course, the smallest one you can get right now is, you know, like the Osmo Pocket. That's super tiny, but you can't, you know, do anything with that camera. So yeah, this is the smallest gimbal I can find on the market that lets you accept your own camera like this, right? So I have a compact camera. This is what I'm going to use. This will also work for mirrorless cameras like the A6XX series or the RX100 series. This will work with any of those. So yeah, this will work with most mirrorless cameras, I would say, and compact cameras. This has a tripod mount. This actually will connect to Bluetooth. So this will be a zoom function right here. It charges with USB-C. This is the, the controls, right? You can move your camera like this, up and down, left and right. So that's your analog controls. That's your recording button and your mode button right here. So you can shoot in different modes. On button right here, and this is a menu button for additional adjustments, and the trigger button for focusing, just like the Osmo had. This is to lock the axis, and you have to calibrate. This according to your camera, right? All right. So this gimbal actually comes with a quick release plate right here. So you actually have to loosen this one up. There's like a lot of screws here you gotta like adjust to make sure that it fits, and then you just loosen it up, and then you press this to slide it out. And this is a quick release plate. And this first slot here, so if you have a compact camera like the ZV-1 or the RX100, right, it would go in here. And then if you have a mirrorless camera like the Alpha series, then it would go here, right, because it's bigger. So for the Alpha camera, we just have to, I'm gonna put it in this slot because it's a compact camera, right? And then in here, and then the quick release just goes in like this, and gotta tighten it. All right, and then we're good. It's on here. By the way, this comes with a smartphone clamp as well. So this one will also, this comes with the Zhiyun Crane M2, and you would just put it on the quick release plate, probably in the compact slot right there, and then you would just screw it in there. And then you can use your smartphone like an Osmo Mobile basically, and you'll have a gimbal that can be used for pretty much anything, a camera, a compact camera, mirrorless camera, or a smartphone. So that's pretty cool. All right, now before you guys turn on the Crane M2, you should probably calibrate it. So you got to make sure that the balance is correct. So you can see that there's all these axes that you got to adjust with all these screws. So you got to make sure that's all balanced first. And, there's tutorials by Zhiyun and other people that shows you how to do it. But you have to get it balanced first, else if you turn it on, it's going to say something like axis lock error. Even though I'm not locking it, it just does that when it's when it thinks that some balance is really off. So make sure you calibrate that first. And then there's also an app that you can use as well. Yeah, it's called the ZY Play. So you can download that app, and I think that one will also have a calibration helper as well. So yeah, we can turn it on, boot it up. All right, so it goes to this PF mode right here, which will allow us to adjust the y-axis here, but not the z-axis. So you can't go left and right. You can go up and down, but if you go left and right, this will slowly turn that way to be more smooth. So this is basically the same setting that the DJI Osmo had. And I think most users, if you're going from a DJI Osmo, then you probably just use this mode, the PF mode. And if you want to focus, just like the Osmo, you have the trigger button to focus. So you can see F for focusing and PF, right? This is just the regular mode. So I think most users, when they use the Zhiyun M2, will probably be using this mode. And that's if you want the Zhiyun to just automatically, steadily pan to wherever you want. Now, if you want more control over your pan, then you go to L mode, which will actually let you pan using the analog controls here, right? In addition to the up and down. So now you can use X-axis in addition to the Y-axis. All right. And then there's other modes. I haven't really used them too much, but there's POV mode, which is more for like a more dynamic mode, I guess. And then back to PF mode. Right, and then you have the mode button right here, which will bring up the settings menu essentially. And so you have motor, Wi-Fi, history, joystick, too interesting, but you have all this. Set the motor speed, I guess, connected to Wi-Fi. Yeah. So there's your settings on the mode. And I don't have it hooked up to the camera yet. If you hook it up to the camera's Wi-Fi, I think you can control it using the record and the zoom buttons, but I don't have it hooked up right now. But that's what the Zhiyun can do. So now I have a short film that I shot in Vancouver a few days ago using the Crane M2 plus the Sony ZV-1. And my friend, who is a professional videographer, he color graded this. He did all the post-production work on it. I just shot it, and my settings were, I used the picture profile 10 with the HLG3 setting, and that's the gamma setting, and the Rec 2020 color mode. F5.6 is the f-stop that I used with the 160 shutter speed, 30 FPS, and 4K resolution. Everything else, the white balance, the ISO, and the exposure was all set to auto, and I had the ND filter turned on. So yeah guys, that's it. I think that this combination of the Zhiyun Crane M2 plus the Sony ZV-1 is pretty potent and a pretty good value. I think it's it's definitely an upgrade over the past equipment that I've used over the past few years. And you know, even just a few years ago, if you wanted to have something that's similar in quality to this setup, you would have to spend a lot more money, and you would have a lot more items to carry as well, right? But now we get a camera that has basically the same features as my Sony a6000 plus the lens that I had, which is the Zeiss 24mm prime that I had before, in one small compact package. And the microphone that's built in is actually, you know, I'm not gonna say as good as the dedicated one I had before, but it's definitely a step up over a lot of the previous cameras the previous compact cameras that had built-in mics, right? And also you get a gimbal here that is also pretty compact, and once you put these together, then it's basically the equivalent of a setup that would have cost you thousands of dollars more just like a couple of years ago, right? So I think this is a really good value for people out there who are just, you know, YouTubers or aspiring vloggers, people doing product reviews like myself, or who just wanted to do shoot some nice videos while traveling. You want to upgrade over the Osmo Mobile 3 that I used before with the iPhone 11. That was a pretty good combination too, right? The iPhone 11 Pro plus the Osmo Mobile 3, which I did a video on, but this is definitely a step up in quality over that. So definitely, I think this is gonna be my camera setup from now on. So next time I go traveling, definitely gonna use the Crane for recording, and using this camera right now for my YouTube videos from now on. So that's it guys. Let me know about your feedback and comments in the comment section below, any questions that you might have. Take a look at the video. I hope you enjoy it, and as always, thanks for watching.